Good morning, all my wonderful friends and all my weavers or crafters or knitters. I love you. I hope you're having a wonderful time. First of all, I want to show you the new me. No, I'm not scripting, but I have stripped off a lot of it. I used to have a belly that was way up here 5 years ago. It was 340 pounds. And for the past 5 years, I have slowly, it took 5 years, slowly cutting out a lot of meat and everything. So here it is. It took me 5 years. Now everybody's different. So whatever you're eating, I myself have cut down a lot of that food intake. So it is chilly outside, so I'm going to put my jacket back on because I'm sick of cold. So let's get started. But that's what I wanted to share with you. It's good to share. It's good to talk. I can't wait till I have a live chat in the knitting group that I created. So that's the next step. So here I am at my LK150. I've been knitting on the LK100, the Brother KH820, but now I want to try the LK150 because my yarn has arrived. This is a 2-ply, almost like a sport weight yarn, what I've been waiting for, so I'm super excited. Let's see. Oops. In this container that it came with, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 combs of various colors. And you know, you can get them just about anywhere nowadays. The internet is so abundant with lots and lots of yarn stores. So you might want to find a yarn store that will fit your needs. So I'm going to pick up my computer and set it like this. Uh-oh, I accidentally, let's see, did I turn it off? Okay, it's back on track. Pardon me, I tend to drop things. And I think it's off track. But I'm going to double check my camera intake. Okay, it's back online. I have a huge monitor in front of me. So this way I can see what I'm doing. Let me move my light back some. Let's take a picture. It's still too bright. Maybe if I just change the... Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So let me just turn that off. Okay. There. Oh, that looks much better. Okay. And then I can place that down. And now there's another thing I have to do on the camera itself. I have to adjust the brightness because it is morning and I get a lot of beautiful light here. Which there I have no complaints. Okay, so this is the LK100. I have no idea why it's still really bright. That's something I just don't know. But I've tried to, you know, adjust this camera. It's a very inexpensive camera. I think it costs $9. So I was recording on my telephone, and the telephone works perfectly. It's just that it's so small, my little telescope, and it fits on a tripod, but I really can't see what I'm doing, and I can't hook it up to my monitor, which is right in front of me, and I'll show you that. See my monitor? That's my monitor right there. You see my hand, blah, 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 blah. So I can see what I'm doing versus me constantly turning around and looking at the camera. I can actually see what I'm doing by looking at my monitor in front of me. So Yesterday, I've been practicing on creating this beautiful beret. Isn't that beautiful? This is a child's beret hat. It's a size for a child, not for an adult. It'll be too small for my head and it'll probably pop off. But this is excellent for a child. For this particular one, I used, I believe, let me see. Let me get my magnifying glasses. For this one, I used my chunky, or what they call the LK150, which is for a bulky yarn. Okay, bulky yarn. You know what bulky yarn is. It was a worsted weight number 4. It's truly thick, and you can see how thick it is here. For this particular LK150, you can use the bulky yarn. The only thing is you would have to pull out every other needle. And now that I have my 2-ply yarn, I don't have to do that. So hold on. And I just realized I have the wrong jar of needles. I have several machines, so I have to get other one. Here it is. I have several cups that have different items in it. That is placed okay. And okay, so now I've got what I needed. And again, this is the thick, what they call worsted weight yarn. And again, I have to find my different casting combs. This is for the bulky machine. So those are the little things that I forgot to get. So just give me a moment, and I'll go ahead and get that. I thought I had everything out correctly, but sometimes I have a little bit of rush. There. And then another thing I always get out is my LK100 manual or the instruction book in case you need that. And I think there's one missing. I might have dropped it. There it is. Okay. Thank you for being patient with me. Today my legs are acting a little better, so I want to get on my knitting machine and show you this. So I'm going to get the extension clips so I can extend these. I don't think I'm going to need the secondary one, so that's going to be placed away. Shelf unit that somebody gave me. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. Somebody gave me this cute little shelf unit. So I'm going to place my weights on there. And again, just in case I need reference, I'm going to bring my LK150 man. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is thread the mask with some. This one's a little thinner than my other worsted weight, so this is going to work just perfectly. So over your tension guide, around the other guide, and then through your tension wire. This is going to be for the wasted yarn. we do need wasted yarn because we are going to create this beautiful, lovely pinwheel hat for an adult, okay, and including the brim. So place that over there. First thing you want to do is bring out, okay, in the other one I had 60 needles. This one we're going to have to pull out 40 needles on each end. Let's see, 42 on each end. I noticed that works really good for me, for my head, because it measures, my head measures. My circumference is about 21. And this is, it's a little bit bigger. I have it at 22, so I want it to stretch a little bit. So pull out, take a circumference of your head, the diameter of your head, and that's how you know if it fits. I'm dropping everything here. Okay, so let's take a look here. Oh! I have to go back a few steps because we are creating the hat first. So we need to take out 10, 12 needles. I apologize. So that's 10, 12. So we should have a total of, I'm going to say 25 needles. Now, the other lady took out 40, but I believe my head's maybe just a little, well, let's go with the 20 because I forget, this is the, I keep forgetting this is the LK150, so the needles are a little smaller versus the LK100. I keep thinking of the LK100. I don't know why, because I've been using it. So we're going to cast on, and from 0 to my left is 20, from 0 to my right is 20. There's 40 needles. So let's go ahead and do an E-wrap. I will pause this so I don't bore you too much with me E-wrapping. Now a lot of you know how to E-wrap. So it's a good thing. So here we go. I will pause this so we don't waste a lot of the, I will post this on YouTube. Okay, so we added all the yarn, well I have it. I include you as well. So now I'm going to take out one of the, and here's the caster comb, and I'm going to insert it from this way and over, and then just let it fall. Okay? Because this is the LK150, I don't have to worry about moving my needles in that position, which I would have to if I was using the LK150. So I'm going to add a weight to hold that into place. I have my mask at the highest tension, 13, and on the carriage, the highest is 9 because this is a little thicker yarn, not as thick as my other yarns. I'm sure I don't catch any threads on that end. Seems like I always catch thread there on the end. And then slowly go across. This is waste yarn, so we don't have to worry about if it falls off. We're going to go ahead and cast like 6 stitches, 6 rows. Okay, so I went over But this is just wasted yarn, and we're going to go back to 0. So I'm going to trim this off because I don't need it, and it's because it is wasted. Then add a little weight to the bottom just to keep that in place. I'm going to remove the waste yarn. And I'm going to make sure that my waste yarn, we're going to need this again when we finish this 8-block pattern, because I will show you there are 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start with blue and end up with the yellow. So let me place my yarn in the container. Blue is the main yarn, so it's going to go on my right. Again, I'm going to thread the mask, and I don't think we have to go through all that, so let me pause. Okay, so I threaded the machine. I've got it on the mask. The next thing you need to do, because we are going to now start this beautiful little hat. So pull your little waist yarn down. Your rustle levels should now be on 1. So let's go ahead on both sides, place it on 1. We're going to place our tension at 5 just to see how we start this yarn, because it's the first time I'm using this yarn. The next thing you're going to do is pull out 2 needles. Okay? Get a clothespin or something to hold that yarn down and slowly go across. Oh, look how pretty that new yarn works. I love it already. So we're going to go back and do it stockinette stitch or knit. All through this is we're going to be taking out 2 needles, doing 2 rows, because we have to go over these needles and then just go across. Pull out 2 needles and knit and go across. Pull out 2 needles, knit, go across. Because these needles are going to be in the hold position, meaning they're not going to do anything. Now we're going to remove our casting comb. We are not in need of that because we are going to be needing our claw weights. We're going to want to place one at one end and the other at the other end. And 2 needles, go across, and knit. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. My row counter says 10, so I'm doing good. Go across and knit. Move your claw weight to the next location. And I think this is a little bit too loose, so I'm going to go down to number 3 on my carriage and number 3 at my tension rod, and let's see what happens. Pull out 2 needles. That's a little better. Otherwise, the hat's going to be too loose. Go across and back. Pull out 2 needles. Across and back. And I like to listen to my carriage because it is talking to me. What do I mean about that? And I lost count right here, but that's okay. I'll pull out 2 needles because I do talk a lot and I forget where I'm at. I'm going to, ooh, 2 needles, maybe I already did in front of you, I don't know. But listen to this last needle to your left, the beginning of this needle, and it's going to click. When that clicks, that means that needle is wrapped around. You don't want to go way past that. Okay, so pay attention. you hear that? There. That guarantees my needle has wrapped around me. And I'm always listening for that. Go like 2 needles, claw weight. I'm going slow because I don't want you to miss what I'm doing. That way, there I can reload them. Two, and 2. Okay, so we stop right here. We have 4 needles left. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are we going to do? We are now going to start back at the beginning, and we're going to place our Russell levels onto both sides, because we're going to do a regular knit. We're going to knit 2 rows. 1, 2. Done. Now we are going to place our Russell levels on 1. We are now going to go to the secondary color. Oh! Sorry. I was trying to show you how I thread that. And secondary color, I'm going to place it on number 3 because it's all the same. Place it on my tension holder. And back down. I'm going to remove the first row, and I'm going to go all the way and put it in bow position. Okay? I take my secondary color, add it to the, hi sweetie, add it to the, till you hear somebody, I don't know. So let me place a clothespin there. I'm going to take out 2. Remember, it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way across. Okay. And then knit 2, 2, 2. Start looking at different weights. And ball weights. And right under that last needle. So that makes up for that. Now, if you don't want that, like you get that little hole at the end, you can always pick up that yarn, place it under the needle, totally up to you. And then it won't create that hole. It's totally up to you. I prefer to just go all the way across. Now we're going to leave the last 4 needles alone. Place our needles into the number 2, so we're going to add 2 rows. I'm going to remove our yarn, and we're going to go to the blue yarn. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pulling some of this yarn out. And the reason why is because when I get to cutting it, I want to be able to tie that up. So I'm going to do the same thing to this end. I want the same amount of yarn so I can sew it into the hat later and hide the yarn. Put down a little piece of one of my weights. I'm going to take my weight over here, put that on this end, pull out 2 needles, rustle well, go on number 1, and then I'm going to carefully go across there. So we're going to do 4 panels like this, and we will end up with the yellow color. So we've got 2, this is number 3, and then 4, and I'll be right back. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so we made it back to 8 blocks. I think I said 4, I apologize for that. So we actually want to keep going, creating the 8 blocks. Yeah, I'm just moving everything out of the way so you can see. So this is what it looks like. See that? Here is your beret. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 blocks. This one was for the child, and you can see it's smaller than this one. Much smaller, because see, this is where the headband would be. So this is much smaller. So this is an adult size. And remember, I took out 0, 20 to my left, 0, 20 to my right. And when I say 0, I'm talking about the center. So the next thing we're going to do is pull out some yarn, and you want to take out, drop these stitches, stopping, so let me back out there. Okay, so we're back. Pull out enough, just like that, make it long. First of all, you need it because you're going to tie off one end. Second of all, you need it because we're going to close out that end. So, taking enough yarn, placing one mask hold clip, trim that off. Because we are going to place some waste yarn now on. So remove the blue temporarily. Well, actually, I just should have removed the yellow because we're no longer using them for yellow unless you want to add the yellow. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to remove the blue, bring in my container for the waste yarn, and tie that up a little bit. And with the waste yarn, we're going to place it at the high tension of 13 and 9 on the carriage. 13 on the mask, 9 on the carriage. Okay? also levels for our number 2. So slowly, oh, and don't forget your clothespin, and I forgot something, my weights, otherwise everything is going to jump off, and after all this beautiful work, I don't know that. So make sure you have some weight on there. Okay, now we're ready. Slowly go through it. Because it is a thicker yarn. Okay. And just create some waste yarn roll. And I forgot to look. That's why I was told. To my left, doesn't matter at this point. Remove your waste yarn. I just do that so it's in a loop and it doesn't come all apart. So I always like to put a little knot at the end so I know which side I'm at when it comes to pulling out my waste yarn. Otherwise I will really forget. So I should do the same thing. Well, not on the other one, it's too late. Let's remove our weights. And now we're going to take this off of the carrot. Just like that. Why? Because we are going to connect these two. Okay? So we want the right sides facing us. Okay? And you're going to leave all the needles out because those are the needles that you use to create the first row. And we're going to transfer them with our waste yarn, looking for that yellow at the end, right there, that loop. That's what we want, that loop right there that I'm pointing at. Let me get my transfer tool so you can see it. We want this yellow loop, that one right there. So that's what we're going to do. Move our yarns out of the way, pull out a loop, place it at the end. Now remember, that loop is loose, so you want to add the weight, otherwise it's going to come all apart, and you don't want that to happen. So get some weight on there, and then I take it and I go on the other end, and I'm going to get that loop, place it on the other end. That weight is holding that down, and now I'm going to get my 3-prong tool and look for those yellow loops and transfer it to the, I can hold it. I did use a very tight stitch, so if you gotta work with it, you use a tight stitch. And I'm going to transfer those 3 onto the needles. Then I'm going to pull out my needles. I'm going to go on the other end. And for right now, let me use the 1-prong tool because it is super tight and it's a very thin 2-ply yarn. And that gives me at least an option. Now I can go pick up those 3 loops. It is tight. Let me get my 2-prong tool, probably can do a little better with that one. Yep, I knew that was going to work a little better for me. And I did have it on number 1 tension, and then number 3 on the carriage. Number 1 on the tension rod, number 3 on the carriage. This is a 2-ply, I think they call it socket net yarn. again, you can order that Amazon, Walmart, Joann's Fabric, Yarn, Webs, or yarns.com. And since I got it in one particular company, I'm going to keep getting it there because they give you a nice box at a very reasonable price. I got, I think, 12 yarns for under $100. And these are combs. These are half a pound combs. And yarns.com, they sell by the pound, but it is very pricey. The same type of yarn, I got the same type of yarn, and it runs like $36 to $40 for a pound for just one color. You know, here I got 12 variety colors, half a pound. If you divide that in half, that's 6 combs at a pound. The only thing is I have various colors. So with that said, if you want to get a $36 pound comb at yarns.com, I would get a multicolored one. This way I can have a beautiful array of colors and the solid color. There, got that one on. The needles out. And if you did that right, you should come out with 10. So now I'm going to pull out this one, the wasted yarn, because remember I put a knot on it. Pull it out, you know what side it is. Sometimes I pull the wrong one out. And put it away so it doesn't bounce out. Pull the yarn out. And then you see how I wrapped it around my 2 fingers. Now I'm going to make a little butterfly, wrap it around tight. Get my latch tool, insert it in 1 or 2 of the threads, find the latch, pull it through, and now it's nice and tight on a loop, and I can use that for the next project. There. Now that we've got that one on, we need to work that out. Now we're going to go to the other side where we had the worsted wasted yarn here. Okay. So where is it? I didn't put the knot on here, so I am totally confused. Well, not to worry, because what we can do is just cut that in. So let's get that blue, same thing that I did earlier. We're going to get the blue yarn that we added for the wasted yarn on. I'm going to put it on one needle and go on the other side and put it on the other side. And remember, this is a loose yarn on this end, so you don't want it to unravel. Now you can get both of those, the yellow and the blue, together carefully and create a knot. Otherwise that's going to come off and you're not going to be a happy camper. And where's that? There. So we've got that on. Now you can place a weight on there to hold that together. just those ends, just the yellow, nothing white. And then we're going to start adding the blue. Oops, look at it, I don't want to miss that middle. And that's what I almost did. I just made a little mistake. And that would have caused me to drop maybe a lot of stitches. So let me get that on the right. Now I can place my weight. I grab a few of these first. And each end. And then we're going to go to part 2. And the reason why is because I have too much minutes on this video.